Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, what's my brethren all around the world watching this video? Hope you're having a great day today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and do yourself a damn favor because we bring out that heat here on True School Sports. Now, this is part two. Oh my God, we didn't know there was going to be a part two, but this is part two to why Tyson Fury will beat Deontay Wilder on December the 1st to become WBC heavyweight champion. Now, it is worth noting, I'm going to let you guys know, there will be a video later on this week about why Deontay Wilder will beat Tyson Fury, because we got to consider both, because people say, oh, better use like Tyson Fury. But I really think he's going to win the fight. I think he's a better fighter. I think very highly of Tyson Fury as a boxer. So here are my three reasons, again, as to why I think, different three reasons as to why I think Tyson Fury will defeat Deontay Wilder. We'll start with number one, okay? Now, this kind of goes into what I said in my last video, where I mentioned the size of Tyson Fury and how Wilder had to punch up. Now, it is worth noting that Fury has a 2-inch reach advantage against Deontay Wilder, and that, it'll be probably the first time in his career where Deontay Wilder is going to have to reach for a lot of punches. Usually when you're fighting guys who are eye level or shorter than you, you can keep it's a lot easier to keep your punches shorter, okay? Because in many cases you had to keep your punches shorter because number one, there's a lot of those guys trying to crowd you, and on top of that, you don't have to extend as far because they don't have that kind of reach. But now he's fighting a guy who is 6'9", can move, has fantastic footwork, and he is going to have to give up a little bit of real estate to try to land a jab. And because he's going to do that, I believe he will get countered with things such as a straight right hand, maybe even a counter left hook off the ropes. Similar to some of the things we saw in his fight against Luis Ortiz, similar to some of the things we saw. I know it's an old example, but like if you guys go on YouTube and you watch, there's a video when he was in London years ago. I'm gonna say 2013, 2012 ish, and he was sparring David Haye. Go back and watch that. Haye was not a big heavyweight, but Haye was making him miss and he was making him pay. I think Fury will catch him with those same kinds of shots in this fight due to Wilder having to reach, not just throwing a punch and keeping it nice and short, but I'm talking about overextending, giving up real estate that he normally wouldn't give up because he has to, because he's fighting a bigger man. That's reason number one, okay? Reason number two why Tyson Fury will beat Deontay Wilder, and this actually counteracts one of the biggest arguments as to why people say he has no chance and he won't beat Wilder. People say, well, Tyson Fury is coming off of a long layoff, and that's very correct. His last meaningful fight, literally, as I'm making this video on November 27th, 2018, tomorrow will be the 3-year anniversary of his last significant fight, and that was against one Vladimir Klitschko back in Dusseldorf, Germany. All right. So what people fail to mention, and I actually figured this out because Tyson Fury mentioned it in interviews. I don't want to think Tyson Fury put me on because I hadn't actually gone and looked for myself. But now that I have, he is correct in what he's saying. Before he fought Vladimir Klitschko, he had a 10-month layoff prior to that fight. He fought Christian Hammer in February of 2015 that year, and then going into the Klitschko fight, it was a 10-month layoff. So 10 months is a long time. 10 months is quite a long time. When he fought Derek Chisora, okay, I know that's not like a massive name, not the best heavyweight in the world, but at that time for him, that was probably his biggest fight. It was a big fight in domestically. It was a rematch with Chisora, and Chisora is a guy that you can't take lightly. He is not an A-level fighter, but you can't take lightly, right? So he fought that year. He fought Derek Chisora towards the end of 2014 in November, and he boxed Joey Abel earlier on that year in February. So that was a 9-month layoff. So he has it. What people fail to understand is Fury has experience going into big fights on long layoffs. I mean, obviously there's a massive difference between 10 months and 3 years, but what I will say is this: he's had two. Whether you like it, regardless of what you think about the performances or not, he's had 2 tune-up fights going into the bout with Deontay Wilder, and he clearly feels confident enough, in his preparation and what he's got in the bank to take on a challenge such as this so early. Because I was expecting him to maybe give it like 6, 7, 8 tune-ups, kind of go the George Foreman route. But that's not what he's done. He's actually decided to go straight away and go for the gusto now. So he's only boxed. It is worth noting that Tyson Fury in his comeback has only boxed 14 rounds. So he feels confident enough, not just in the 14 rounds that he's put in the bank in his fights, but also in his preparation, his losing weight, his sparring. He's been sparring with the likes of Lawrence Sauce Okoli, who was a fantastic cruiserweight, been doing good things this year, and beating up on some top-level domestic opposition. Isaac Chamberlain, terrible fight. Luke Watkins. So, he's getting good preparation for this fight, and he's a fantastic fighter with a great boxing mind to boot with all that, and he has a certain toughness inside of himself that does not exist in most fighters. It's because of that toughness that he's not only looking ready for this fight, but he looks like he's in damn good shape for this fight. And he's had to overcome alcoholism, personal demons, drug addiction, drug problems. So he's gone through it, and win, lose, or draw, he's champion of life. But straight up, that kind of toughness is what's got him to be prepared for this fight. So you have the fact that Wilder will be reaching a lot more than we're accustomed to seeing, so it's going to leave it open for a lot of counters, which Tyson Fury will in fact capitalize on because of his really good footwork and understanding of positioning in the ring. Then you have the fact that he's boxed before. He has experience boxing off of long layoffs. So that's number one. Number two. And then number three, and this is the one thing I think people fail to forget. Now, to remember, while Tyson Fury hasn't necessarily, so he abused his body for a period of time with drugs, alcohol, we get it, right? But in terms of physical brutality, what he's actually sustained and taken in the ring, the guy hasn't really taken much punishment. The only punishment that's been dished out to him really in his boxing career has been outside the ring, and has him been dishing punishment on himself. He has not, go look at his fights. There was a Steve Cunningham fight where he was hurt. He had some early fights in his career, against the likes like, John McDermott when he fought for the English title. And that was a tough fight for him. Such a tough fight for him that, he had to get a rematch not too long after that. So there's definitely been, he's had a couple of tough fights here. Steve Cunningham, John McDermott, early fights in his career. But aside from those two fights, really, and they were rather early in his career, he really hasn't taken a lot of punishment in the ring. And I think that's something that gets overlooked as well. Because if he, now, like, for example, if Tyson Fury was maybe like a Francisco Vargas type of a fighter, where every fight is a war, and you're just constantly getting hurt, and you look like Arturo Gatti every single fight, then I fully understand why there's so much concern. But when you have his boxing IQ, his level of talent, size, speed, agility, toughness as well, it's the mixture of these things, coupled with the fact that Wilder is fighting a guy that's bigger than him, where he's going to have to reach and be susceptible to a lot of counters. And on top of that, this is a man that, I'm not condoning fighting off long layouts, but I'm saying if he's done it already before, and mind you, this fight with Wilder is not going to be the biggest stage he's been on. Nothing will get bigger for him unless he fights Anthony Joshua in the future at Wembley Stadium in a big unification fight. The stage will not get bigger for him than that fight with Vladimir Klitschko, because Vladimir Klitschko was a guy that Emmanuel Stewart had told him he was going to beat his whole career. He had to go to Germany, which is Klitschko's backyard, and literally take the belt and box his ears off and do what no man had done for a decade plus, and that was defeat Vladimir Klitschko. So with that being said, the stage, he's not going to be shy of the moment. He's been on bigger stages than this. And yeah, I mean, these are my reasons why I think he's going to, again, why I think he'll beat Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder not trying to give up real estate or Fury luring him into giving real estate. If he wants to land that jab and set up that right, he will have to, in fact, give up real estate and commit, and maybe sometimes, depending on how well Fury is moving, overextend with the jab, which will leave him susceptible to counter punches, which I believe Fury will capitalize on. Secondly, the experience before going into big fights, fighting off layups. I don't condone it, but he's done it before. I believe he can do it again. And third, aside from two fights very early on in his career when he fought John McDermott and John McDermott and Steve Cunningham, the guy has really not had to take a lot of punishment in the ring. And I just think these things are all going to serve him well, along with the fact that Tyson Fury is very, very motivated. And I think he's one of those fighters, man, that when he's motivated and when he has something to truly fight for that's bigger than boxing, dangerous fighter. He has nothing to lose in this fight. So those are my reasons why I think Tyson Fury will beat Deontay Wilder this weekend. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What chance do you give Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder on Saturday night? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Give me your predictions. Take the time to subscribe. Like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.